Just some guy. Hi, Chris. You define Scientology as a money-making scam, etc., but would it be correct to say you are then only referring to the Church of Scientology, orgs, Sea Org, management, IAS, etc., and not the texts and materials of Scientology as a philosophical subject? My question is, how do you see those in the independent field who get and receive Scientology auditing training at a fraction of the cost, one could say a fair exchange, and believe, think, feel, know they get benefit from it? Would you say they are still in a destructive cult-induced state or otherwise? This is a tough question because there are, a lot of factors involved in this, and I am loath to try to sit in judgment on other people who think that they've got something and it works for them, and they're happy with it. I don't feel it's my place to tell somebody, well, it's not, and you're really not experiencing that, and the gains and wins and subjective ideas you have about it are all just a bunch of crap. I'm loath to do that. So I'm not answering this question from a position of judgment. So you're asking me, what's my take on this though, and I'm going to tell you that I don't think that Scientology as a philosophical subject is anything but destructive. I don't see it as a philosophical subject. I see it as a scam. And in the same way that I see homeopathy as a scam. I mean, are you kidding me with this? These micro amounts of something in water, and that whole pseudoscience there's nothing to it. It's a scam. And that's what I feel about Dianetics and Scientology. So while I can say that about homeopathy and feel confident that the science behind it is total nonsense, I feel the same way about Dianetics and Scientology. When it comes to body thetans and the reactive mind and engrams and assists and all of that, I don't subscribe to any of that as beneficial technology that's there to help people. And so just because somebody feels like they're getting something out of it doesn't mean that, to me, it has one iota of validity in terms of actual truth or scientific validity. It just doesn't work that way to me. There's a placebo effect. There is confirmation bias. There are so many things I could talk about in terms of logic and reason and critical thinking as to why people would buy into that stuff, that I don't need to grant it or cede it any validity in order to explain why some people feel like they benefit from it. People get benefits from all kinds of things that are not necessarily beneficial to them. So in terms of actual hard objective evidence. So that's kind of my view about, people who continue to use Dianetics and Scientology as independent Scientologists. I don't subscribe to that. I don't think it's healthy. But that's just my opinion. And, I'm not, again, there's no judgment here. I'm not telling people who do that, well, you're a bunch of morons or something. That's not really my point. I'm not trying to degrade them or make them feel like they're wrong for believing that they have experienced gains from Dianetics and Scientology. I experienced gains in Dianetics and Scientology. I mean, that's why I did it for 27 years. And I think anybody who comes out of Scientology and says that they didn't experience gains is a horrible liar, because of course you did. Otherwise, why would you continue doing it? But to come out the other side, the benefit, the cost-benefit analysis of Dianetics and Scientology to your life, versus what you get out of it, it doesn't equalize. It doesn't pan out. Scientology takes so much more from you than it gives. And Dianetics is, the pseudoscience and the purification rundown these are destructive activities to a person mentally and physically. So I can't get behind that, and I would never recommend that somebody continue to use Dianetics and Scientology after they've left. I can't subscribe to that, right? But it's not a personal thing. right? And I hope I'm making my, it sounds a little complicated or a little wishy-washy or something, and I don't mean to be wishy-washy. I'm just trying to say that I'm not down on people for what they want to do. I guess in the same way that I'm not down on Christians or Catholics for wanting to believe in God. You know, I don't believe in that God. I don't think that that God exists. So but I'm not down on Christians and Catholics for it. I don't think they're a bunch of morons. People can believe whatever they want, you know. So I hope I'm clear about that, and sort of, you know, explaining myself clearly that that I don't grant Dianetics and Scientology's written philosophical materials any validity or any you know, authority, or that I don't think they have any truth connected with them. But that doesn't mean that people aren't going to say they get benefits from it. So there you go.